and welcome to the Barely Normal podcast. I'm Luke. Do you have any secret abilities that you don't tell anybody about? Now, this could be having an extra toe, or being able to hang from things for a long time, or be able to tell if your farts are going to stink before they become farts. That's quite the skill of being able to tell whether your meal ghosts will be friendly or foe, still while they're being in the process of being turned into meal ghosts. So, well, I suppose unique ability is the genetic variance that we need when things happen, I suppose. Or if things are very good, then we have, well, I suppose for a little while, monoculture, because we double down on the things that work. But then you get some sort of fungi or disease that destroys all of your bananas or almost all of the grapes in the world. And then you have to go hunting. Just imagine if in the 80s, if that had happened, that all the grapes in the world had been killed out. Just imagine if it had killed out all the grapes, if wine wasn't available anymore. Like, I live in a wine kind of region, and it'd be interesting to see what that land would be used for. Probably some rich billionaires. Probably used for similar things. They'd probably be growing weed. If the movement in the 1920s, the abolition of alcohol, if they had continued, just imagine if alcohol had been wiped out. What new things would people be using now that would be normalized? Flip, I heard a talk about using ketamine to help depression. And apparently even a single dose helps medication-resistant depression. Which I suppose it is a medication if you use it as that. That's its secret ability to us, perhaps. It does kind of go back. Well, everything goes back. If you go long enough, I suppose to partnerships between things. So scientists, apparently, and this might already be outdated, we're finding out so many new things all the time. It's kind of cool. But scientists found out, or they think that this is what happened, that a single-cell organism ate another single-cell organism. But what this organism gave off as a byproduct, the first organism ended up not killing it and digesting it. And in fact, when it multiplied to make daughter cells, it must have made an agreement with the with the other organism, because it multiplied with it. But it found that it got a lot of energy from this little organism. Adenosine triphosphate, ATP. Oh, there's a little fly buzzed past. Yeah. The powerhouse of the cell. So I wonder if that happened multiple times, or if it happened only once. Please excuse the train. Yeah. Or like leaf ants who feed fungi. And when a queen goes off to establish her own new colony, she takes with a small amount of the existent fungi from the old colony. How long have they been doing that? Apparently 64 million years. Apparently ants weren't actually everywhere you go now, if you leave something on the floor, there'll be ants. But back then, there were giant, giant insects. So ants actually weren't that plentiful. But imagine like giant dragonflies, like the size of your arm. That must be terrifying. And it was only after the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs did ants kind of take over. Ants and very small mammals. And the dinosaurs that did exist, well, they had to learn how to scamper up trees and flap about and keep balanced. Some of them already had kind of feathery protrusions instead of, I suppose, hair to keep them warm. And they found they could flap up trees, and I think that's the origin of flight. And very soon they were flying and gliding. And now we have birds. I really love it when there's pigeons, and they jump from, I live in a block of flats, and they jump from the top, because they have so much faith. They've done this thousands of times by now, successfully. Very few times unsuccessfully. But yeah, they just drop like a stone and then open up their wings as if it's a parachute. Kind of last second almost. Just okay, that's nice. Hop off. Whee! Apparently if you show a pigeon, or any bird I suppose, a movie, it will seem almost like a slideshow. Because their, I suppose, in a way, frame rate of vision is much quicker. Which makes me think about birds that you see that are kind of killed by cars. Because they know well ahead of time. So either it was kind of a cognitive bias, or I suppose, like a deer or a buck that jumps into oncoming traffic at night, because jumping away from, suddenly there's a sharp shadow next to it. It's almost there, so it just jumps away straight into the headlights. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe some of the, well, I've heard of other animals also exhibiting self-destruction, like dolphins, but it's often only when sometimes you need a shock to come back. Have a wonderful day. And this was Barely Normal. Have a great day.